Good evening. It's October 1st, 2020, and I'm going to do a little ceremony tonight for the full moon in Aries. Because I'm having a weepy eye tonight, I'm going to cut the video and just do the audio. I will come in at the end and say goodnight and wish you a good hunter moon and this energy of Aries tonight. So we'll be back with you in just a moment. So as I said, tonight we're going to be talking about the full moon in Aries. For 2020, the overall theme has been creating a new world, uncovering deep truths for the evolution of humanity. And tonight's self-serving Aries moon falls under the relationship building Libra sun, a case of I versus we. We comes forth and brings with it the fire of Mars. At the same time, we're also under a retrograde Mars. So it suggests that passion may be involuted, which can cause a lot of problems. It's also a time of the hunter moon. It is time to set aside the weapons and where we desire to conquer anything. It may be setting aside the I in favor of the much needed repair in the collective we. It certainly calls for boldness without unnecessary bravado and showmanship. It's a brave new world that is calling for the transformative power of fire instead of its destructive force. If we are to stalk at all, let's stalk for peace. Let us hunt for opportunities to connect rather than disconnect. Make our highest priority under the fully illumined moon to kindle the light within and shine it on all dark places and spaces in our own country and in fact across the world. The Aries moon is cardinal fire, while the Libra sun is cardinal air. Both are masculine signs. Let us also affirm for calm air that does not ignite any more out of control fires. I think many of us entering 2020 and the new decade had dreams of peace and prosperity. It's been quite an awakening. If we had known the number and intensity of all of the retrograde planets this year, we may have wondered how it would play out. And yet it is playing out. In some scenarios, rile us with displeasure and disgust. Others promise of shedding of the old and building the new and a better world. Underneath all the chaos, there is a real cry for love. And a much needed love is unconditional without terms of endearment. Because until we can see the divine in each person at the soul level, we are pushed to hunt for it. This perhaps is our greatest challenge of 2020 and the entry into this decade. So tonight we're going to call in the directions and then meditate on the foundational element of creation as love from my book, Blue Moon and Golden Suns. So wherever you are, please turn to the east, the direction of the rising sun. Call up to the direction of the east, the spirits of the east, the guides, the masters, and the creativity illuminators tonight. And we ask you under this full moon to completely light up that part of our brains that are creative, that are problem solvers, that are willing to light those divine sparks and change the dynamic of what's going on in our world. And we think of eagle tonight and the beautiful wide spread of the wings of eagle in flight. We invite that presence so that we may learn to spread our wings and fly. We've entered the fall equinox now, so we are in the feminine time of year, although Aries is masculine. And we want to remember that it's a time of going more within, building and laying the foundation for the new. And certainly many of us are hoping that as the year turns in 2021, that we will have turned that corner, that we will indeed be more focused on creating and birthing a new world than on the destruction of the old, because we've come to understand, of course, that in order for there to be construction, there needs to be some deconstruction or destruction. And that's what we're in right now, and it's a little challenging. So we ask for clarity, wisdom, and illumination this night under this hunter moon, and guidance in helping us hunt after those things which have value and bring peace on earth and love of all. And so it is. Luz, paz, amor, conciencia, armonía. And pause in the east as if you're standing under that bright full moon, and ask that your mind right now be illumined. And so it is. And we turn to the west. We call out to the spirits of the West, the sacred dream initiators, and those guardians that help us lift the veils over all of our illusions. And we remember this is a dream, and as Shakespeare said, it's a dream within a dream. So it's a time for us to wake up and recognize that we're actively dreaming, and we're creating this, and to put our energies into that creation. You know, we're going to call on Bear tonight, which represents hibernation, going within, because this is that more introspect time. And ask Bear to show us how to stand tall, no matter what the circumstances of our life are presenting, so that we have the courage and the strength to make the changes that are necessary for more equity and more freedom and more love and compassion in our world. So in this direction, we're asking for that wisdom to come through to us, for us to garner strength, and for us to appreciate each of our lessons and experiences in life so that we can turn those into energies for good. So we're going to, in this West tonight, imagine that we're standing in front of a series of veils, or they could be doorways. And we're going to, in the quiet, open each of the 7 doorways, or lift each of the 7 veils, and move us out of this darkness, move us out of our illusions back to truth. So in the quiet, for a moment, imagine that you're standing either in front of the veils, in front of the doors. Take a step forward, lift the veil, open the door to the first illusion. And feeling freer, open the next door, lift the next veil, and go on until you have lifted all 7 veils, or you moved through all 7 doors. I'll give you a moment. And so it is, luz, paz, amor, conciencia, armonía. And we're now going to turn to the north, the direction of the ancestors. We call on the wisdom connectors, the ancestors, those that have come before us, those who've held fires before us, who've walked before us, and those who will come later. And we're asking tonight for cleansing, purification, and renewal of body, of mind, of spirit, of thought, of word, and deed. If there was a time ever that we need to tap into our ancestry and the wisdom of those that have gone before, it is this time. There's so much that's available in the great books of life. It's time for us to turn to them, learn from the past rather than repeat it. Be focused on what we will hand off to the next 7 generations. And so I'm going to ask for white buffalo to come because it symbolizes the promise of 1,000 years of peace. And so I would like you for a moment to imagine that you're sitting in a great circle and there's a fire in the middle and the leader is lighting the pipe of peace. And after that is lit, the leader is going to direct attention to each of the cardinal directions and to Father Sky above and Mother Earth below and all our relations. And I want you to receive the pipe now and take your own puff of that pipe and say in your dwelling an intention, let there be peace and let it begin with me. And I'm going to pause for a few moments while you each take that pipe of peace, salute to above and below and all your relations, and set your intention, your personal intention, for being devoted to peace, so that the baton that you hand to the next generation, and that goes on for 7 generations, will receive a healed planet. And so it is, luz, paz, amor, conciencia, armonía. And now we're going to turn to the south, the direction of the faith protectors and guardians of innocence. Call out to the guardians of innocence and the faith protectors tonight. They're spirits that help us keep a youthful mind. Let us affirm this night the importance of returning to that place of expectation and hopefulness and excitement about life rather than focusing on those things that seem not to be working or those things that are bringing up the wounds of our childhood. Let us affirm this night that we will return to joy. We will return to hope. We will not lose faith. We ask this night for growth, trust, and love. Let us learn to love ourselves unconditionally so that we might easily love others. Let us trust ourselves so that we can convey trust to others. And let us assert an intention for a good growth, a growth that not only heals us, but contributes to mass healing of humanity. And so tonight, I think I'm going to call on Hummingbird because it represents joy, and ask Hummingbird to join us tonight to teach us to be light, to have that lightness of being as we float about and flit about in our lives, so that we take things less seriously and begin to see some of the joke of life, and also begin to affirm for a new dream of the planet, dreaming a new planet. So I'm going to ask you tonight to call on that little boy or that little girl within, the undomesticated child within, and ask them to join our circle so that we may be reminded to laugh, to play, to engage life with great enthusiasm. So bring that child in now. Luz, paz, amor, conciencia, armonía. Now we're going to direct our attention upward. Father Sky above, as you shine your lights upon us with your beautiful stars and your moon and your sun and your rainbows of promise, let us be uplifted. Let us direct our attention upward. And as the poet said, reach beyond our grasp to bring down to this earth plane wonder. Let us make this a clean planet, a beautiful planet, truly a paradise in which everyone is able to express a beautiful talent. And let us remember that we have a foot in both worlds, that we walk in the material world, but we are spirit beings visiting. And so it is. And then let us direct our attention downward to Mother Earth, wherever your feet are touching the ground or the carpet or the wood floor or the tile. Mother Earth below, we owe you such a debt of gratitude for this incredible planet. And we apologize profusely for any harm that we've done upon you. And we commit that each in our own way, within our capabilities, we will work to restore this planet to the pristine paradise and wonderland that it once was. Help us to work with each of the elements of air and fire and water and earth. Teach us respect for each of the kingdoms of animal, plant, mineral, and human. Help us be good earth keepers. And so it is. And now if you'll place your hand or hands on your heart, we call on Spirit within. Spirit within, we call on you tonight to light that small flame of spirit and let it grow like a great peat fire so that everywhere we walk, we are generating love. Our entire being and our auras are invoking love. So even in troubled situations and with anxious or angry people, we generate love because we know that love is truth and everything else is false. So let us develop more patience, more kindness, more compassion, forgiveness, acceptance, and understanding that we might have heaven on earth now. And so it is. We thank the spirits of the east, the west, the north, and the south, and all our relations, the Takuyasan. And so it is. Now I invite you to close your eyes and get comfortable and get to the point where you're ready to move into a different energy.